and welcome to The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening, a Let's Play by Link6616, my awakening as a Let's Player. So, in this episode, we're going to get to the Eagle's Tower, but first, the Owl. Now, I really do like that way of going about things. I should probably rephrase it, that's a bad way to say it. What I really like is that in this story they are trying to make the idea that you could be doing something wrong. You could be doing something bad that is genuinely going to hurt this island, but at the same time, if you don't do anything, you're just as likely to be unhelpful. So, a damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of situation. Which isn't really something that is brought up all that often in the Zelda universe. The fact that you could be doing wrong no matter which option you pick. And it is raised that in Ocarina of Time, the fact that you took the Master Sword actually did ruin things. But I don't know, I never quite bought it in Ocarina of Time as much as I do in this. Ooh. That was a bad little bit of music. Again, I'm really sorry that we've had the music go bad so many times in this. Well, I don't especially like this puzzle, to be honest, but it's interesting enough. So this is the signpost maze in which we will get the third song for Ocarina. It's very simple. You go to each sign, and if you don't, try again from the start. You do have to read every sign, you can't just go around and around and have it work. And down. Now while this is pretty simple stuff, there is something kind of endearing to this puzzle, and I still haven't quite figured out what it is I enjoy about it. There's something that just works about this. I think this is one of those things that's really more thematic than it is mechanical in terms of why it's interesting. And this is just a kind of bizarre setting where you just have to read the signs and go where they go. But you must obey them, you can't just, you know, go in all the spots and do things. And the signs always refer to in line with themselves, so if I'm not going to this sign, I'm going to this sign. Now this also does remind me of what is actually the final runny sync in this, which is, in fact, this final song. I assume he's also from the Frog game that I mentioned with Richard, but I'm not entirely sure. Anyway. Excellent. Well, now I've been debating with myself whether I should try showing you the process to which you find out all the knowledge that you need, but we've had it just that we need flight, and if we'd been a little bit more investigative, we would probably know that there is a rooster in town, and that he's a flying rooster. So let's go into town. So let's actually look at this sign here. And now that I have a level 2 bracelet, I can actually push it. So let's sing our song. Now, while the Zelda games have always had a very tenuous connection with death and zombies and things, there has always been something a little bit unsettling to me about just the readiness with which Link proudly accepts the help of this undead rooster. And I'm sure I'm overthinking the thematics of it just a little bit, but it's kind of horrifying. As cute of a rooster this is, and as awesome a rooster this is, it's a little bit horrifying. Now, this is why the boomerang is really OP. Because we have this little sort of invulnerable force field. Sadly, the practicality of this is actually relatively minimal because there's no sufficiently hard combat in the overworld. However, that doesn't really matter too much. But now it's off to Telltale Heights, and when we get there, I will actually go through how we were supposed to find out that we needed the rooster. Well then, let's go. So we've already been up here a little bit for the Angler Cavern, but we get a little bit more serious. Now what I like most about the rooster is that it narrows down the items we need. I've talked a little bit about how as you progress, the core flora in this game becomes more apparent. The fact that 2 buttons really wasn't enough. It's admirable they did it, but it does bog down the game a lot given how often it expects you to combine items. Now let's get this item here. Ooh, 50 rupees! And fly, fly, fly. Now, while it is a little bit inconvenient to have to fly around all this stuff, which is wasting a little bit of time, the convenience mentally of not having to constantly manage and change your items is quite refreshing, to be perfectly frank. So, in order to find out that we actually needed the rooster, we would be exploring this cave, finding we can't get through it, although seeing the key, and would probably talk to this man. And he would have mentioned to us previously that the rooster had actually been around. Oh, I need magic powder. I'll get this after this. But, let's just have a look at this. He's throwing a blue dust over these chickens. That's what the blue dust does. This man who loves those chickens is actually using the only thing in the game that can kill them. Well, these are pretty nice chickens, actually. They're usually a little bit more aggressive. I might have to go back to the ones in town. Maybe it's no swords. Okay. Those are very good chickens. Anyway, for now, let us just deal with a little bit of good progression here. Get our magical key, and then we can worry about getting back our magic powder and also aggressing a chicken so that you can have demonstrated what they actually happen. And everyone knows that cuus in Zelda attack people. But I haven't demonstrated it for you, and given the fact that we have used the only way to kill chickens in this universe, it's probably worth seeing them in action. Well, now I've got that. Because while I can't remember if you need magic powder in the next dungeon, I'm pretty confident it's well, it's going to come up. Magic powder always comes up. So magic powder is where we get it how we always get it, which is through the power of mushrooms, because everyone knows that mushrooms are magical. Ah, the boomerang. You could say it's worth losing your sword for. Obviously, trading the shovel's a much smarter idea, but if you were to trade your sword, you wouldn't be that hard done by, outside of the fact that actually going up the Telltale Heights would be significantly more difficult without that spin swing. Although not unmanageable, I'm sure there's a way to get around that restriction. Rightio then, and to the witch to get some magic powder. Now really, there's no reason to do this right away, but it's fun. Rightio then, it's been a long time since we've been here. You know, this is the first game I think I've actually run out of magic powder. I mean, it had to happen at some point, and I have been a little bit careless with it, I guess. But I'm kind of surprised still that I actually ran out. Admittedly, usually I'm pretty liberal with using the shop front. Whereas, as you obviously know, in this game I've been a little bit limited there. Anyway, time to just quickly go and harass a chicken to demonstrate what usually happens when you attack chickens, for comparison's sake. That's odd. I wonder if it's different when you have a rooster. Well, that's an embarrassingly large amount of attacking chickens for now, I think, really, isn't it? Oh, look, all the keys. It's not that impressive, but, well, it was bound to happen, but it looks nice in an inventory screen. I think it's time for some Pegasus boots. Pegasus boots and the boomerang aren't the greatest combination in the world. They do work, but you need to be pretty good with it. And up we go. Now yes, while the face shrine certainly wasn't my favourite dungeon, it probably has been the most fun I've had with dungeon going through this, as even with the pre-play, it still managed to perplex me a little bit, and if you haven't done it that much before, I imagine it would be pretty tricky to actually keep your head around. And I'm really enjoying how puzzling it was the first time through, actually. It took me so long to work out where the power bracelet level 2 was. Anyway, nearly there. I do like how the rooster matches me. The rooster is always blue, so that doesn't really change. And red, I'd stand out a little bit more and be a nice distinction, but there's something nice about matching my teammate. Anyway, progressing forwards. Now one of the things I do like about this is that, while all the Zelda games I think do this, there is a very strong sense of place in these games. Like, you're always relatively aware of where you are. Except, well, at this point it's a little bit more iffy, as even if I were to bring up the map, it's not quite so clear. But previously, we've sort of had glimpses of waterfalls that we've seen before frequently, and so on and so forth. So there's often nearby landmarks that keep the game feeling very similar. In the 3D Zeldas, of course, you get that very constant sense, usually of either Mount Doom or whichever mountain is relevant to the franchise at that point. Rightio then. And boomerang. No. Now, it's mentioned by a few people who've been following this that Eagles Tower is probably where the game really starts to get hard. Which makes sense given that it's the second last dungeon, and unlike a lot of games in the Zelda franchise where the area before the final boss tends to be more like a dungeon, in this it's simply open and then a gauntlet of bosses from various bits of Zelda history. Not that we need a fairy, but might as well get rid of 1.5 hearts of damage. Rightio then. Sorry about that little squeak there. And nearly at the Eagles Tower. So for now, I'm assuming chickens aren't hurting me because I have the rooster with me. But that's not guaranteed. And that's the Eagles Tower. So hopefully you'll enjoy going through the second last dungeon with me, and definitely going to one of the more interesting episodes, so look forward to that. Eagles Tower. Well, thank you very much for watching, and bye!